The Zelkari had claimed victory 3 standard cycles ago. Their obsidian warships hung in orbit above what remained of the Confederation capital world, like monuments to inevitable conquest. Admiral Thexanor stood on the bridge of the Dominion's edge, mandibles clicking in satisfaction as he surveyed the broken fleets scattered across the system. "The last resistance pocket has surrendered," his tactical officer reported, her carapace gleaming under the bridge lights. "The war is over." Thexanor allowed himself a rare moment of pride. 73 member species of the Galactic Confederation had fallen before Zelkari might. Every calculation had proven correct. Every strategy had succeeded. The galaxy would know a new order now, one built on strength and efficiency rather than the Confederation's weak principles of cooperation. "Broadcast the terms of surrender across all frequencies," Thexanor commanded. "Let every world know that—" "Admiral!" The communications officer's antennae stood rigid with alarm. "We're detecting a massive gravitational anomaly at the system's edge. Multiple signatures. They're enormous." Thexanor's primary eyes focused on the tactical display. What he saw made his blood run cold. 17 massive vessels were emerging from faster-than-light travel, each one larger than anything in the Zelkari armada. Their design was unfamiliar, angular and brutal, covered in what appeared to be hastily welded armor plating and weapon batteries that defied conventional naval architecture. "Identification?" Thexanor demanded. "Unknown, Admiral. They're not broadcasting any Confederation codes. Wait, we're receiving a transmission." The view screen flickered to life, revealing a creature that Thexanor had only heard about in intelligence briefings that seemed more myth than fact. The being was bipedal, with flat features and unnaturally forward-facing eyes that suggested a predator's evolution. It wore a dark uniform covered in insignia and what appeared to be combat decorations. "This is Fleet Admiral Chen of the Terran Expeditionary Force," the human said, her voice carrying an edge that transcended species barriers. "We received the Confederation's distress call approximately 4 years ago. We came as fast as we could." Thexanor felt his confidence waver. Humans, the species that had only achieved faster-than-light travel 15 cycles ago, the primitives who had been invited to join the Confederation, more out of charity than respect. These were the legendary warriors that some whispered about. They looked soft, vulnerable, without natural armor or weapons. "The war is over, human," Thexanor replied, straightening to his full height. "The Confederation has surrendered. Your journey was wasted. Turn your ships around and—" "You misunderstand, Admiral," Chen interrupted, and something in her smile made Thexanor's survival instincts scream. "We didn't come to join a war. We came to end one. You're outnumbered 3-1, Thexanor growled. "Your ships may be large, but size means nothing against Zelkari tactics and—" The tactical display erupted in chaos. The human vessels had opened fire, but not with the plasma cannons or particle beams common to galactic warfare. These weapons were different. Kinetic accelerators hurled tungsten rods at relativistic speeds. Nuclear-pumped laser arrays carved through shields that had withstood the Confederation's best weapons. And something else. Something that sent cascades of electromagnetic interference across every Zelkari system. "They're using atomic weapons in space combat," his weapons officer shrieked. "That's barbaric." "That's effective," Thexanor finished grimly, watching 3 of his cruisers simply cease to exist under the human assault. But it wasn't just their weapons. The human ships moved wrong, executing maneuvers that should have torn them apart under their own acceleration. They fought like nothing Thexanor had encountered in 40 years of warfare, treating every engagement like a suicide mission but somehow surviving through sheer audacity. "All ships converge on the human fleet," Thexanor ordered. "Show them what happens when primitives challenge—" His words died as new contacts appeared on the display. Smaller craft, hundreds of them, were launching from the human carriers, but these weren't fighters. They were drop pods. Assault shuttles. Boarding craft. "They're targeting our ships directly," the tactical officer reported. "Admiral, they're boarding us." Thexanor's worst fears materialized as alarms blared throughout the Dominion's edge. Hull breaches. Intrusion alerts. The humans weren't just attacking his fleet. They were taking it apart ship by ship, deck by deck, with a ferocity that spoke of species-wide rage. Through the internal monitors, Thexanor watched human soldiers in powered armor, cutting through his elite warriors like they were training dummies. These weren't the soft creatures from the intelligence reports. These were predators who had evolved on a death world, who had climbed to the top of their food chain through violence and adaptation, and who had spent the last 4 years crossing the galaxy with only one thought burning in their collective consciousness: vengeance. Admiral Chen, Thexnor transmitted, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. You've made your point. We can negotiate terms. No negotiations, Chen replied. Her image appeared on his screen again, and now Thexnor could see what he'd missed before. Behind her human eyes wasn't just determination. It was something older, something that had driven humans to conquer their own world before reaching for the stars. You declared war on the Confederation. You destroyed worlds. You enslaved populations. Did you offer them negotiations? We won the war, Thexnor insisted. By all galactic conventions. We don't care about your conventions, Chen said softly. We're new here, remember? We don't know the rules. But we do know this: you hurt our friends. You thought the war was over because you defeated them. But humans have a saying, Admiral. It's not over until we say it's over. The bridge shuddered as another section was breached. Thexnor could hear weapons fire growing closer. And we just arrived, Chen continued. So from our perspective, this war is just beginning. Thexnor looked at his tactical display one final time. The Zelkari Armada, victorious for 3 cycles, was being systematically dismantled by a force that had arrived too late to save the Confederation, but just in time to ensure that the Zelkari learned a terrible truth. Humanity didn't need to arrive on time. They just needed to arrive. As human soldiers breached his bridge, Thexnor understood his final mistake. The humans weren't late to the war. They'd simply needed time to build up enough righteous fury to finish it properly. The last thing he saw was Admiral Chen's face on the view screen, and the cold promise in her eyes that spoke of what was coming for every Zelkari world that had celebrated their victory too soon.